Alright, so today we're going to talk about backing up your files while you're traveling. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Dylan Golby, photographer here in Seoul again. I thought I'd run you through today something that's pretty important while you're traveling, and that is being able to back up your files on the go. Now there's a lot of tools out there that will allow you to do this. There's a lot of different ways of being able to do this, but I'm going to run you through the two ways that I typically back up my files as I'm on the go. And I've got two systems because there are basically two overarching types of trips that I take. And I'll take these long trips into the countryside where I'm not sure if I'm going to have access to electricity, and then there's also shorter trips or trips closer to cities where I know I'm going to be able to have electricity to be able to work with. And so I've got two basic systems. One of them's a little easier to use and a little bit more, it's this guy here, the one with the computer, it's a little bit easier to use and a little bit more you have a little bit more control, whereas this system is a little bit more compact, doesn't require you to have access to electricity, and just allows you to make sure you keep a backup on the go. So before we actually get into the backup systems themselves, there's a couple of things that I'd like to note. And the first one is that I always like to keep my backed up data with somebody else if at all possible. And I also like to keep it within visual range if at all possible. Now, I've never been in a place where I felt like I was in danger or I felt like one of us might lose a bag or something like that. But it's always good to be prepared when it comes to the only thing that you're actually bringing back with you, which is the photos. Now, somebody steals your camera or your lens, it hurts, but you're able to replace those things. If somebody were to steal your photos, that's something you can't replace. So I always like to keep them very, very safe. And to that end, I like to use SSDs because the shock of traveling on buses and airplanes and boats and things doesn't really affect them. So they're quite robust for what I do. Right, so on to the first kit. The first kit involves a very, very simple Pelican case that I take with me. Typically, I'm going to keep the contents of this wrapped in microfiber cloth so they don't rub against each other and bounce and hit against each other and get all scratched up. But today, I'm just going to show you exactly how these two fit into the Pelican case. And the first component of this is a Samsung portable SSD. This is a T3. 500 gigabytes. You can get these in up to 2 terabytes now, and I believe Samsung have a T5 at this point, which is a little bit faster. But this is a USB-C port on this end, and it's USB 3.1 compatible. So if you're using a fast device, like when you get home and plug this back into your computer, you'll get between 400 and 500 megabytes read and write speed off this thing. So that's a really, really good drive, and 500 gigabytes is typically enough for one trip, unless we're shooting video. The second component of this is a RAVPower File Hub Plus. Now this is RPWD03 is the part number of this. And what this little device is basically is it is a portable battery pack that has an SD card reader in it, and it also has USB 3.1 or USB 3.0 rather output jack on here, so you can put a memory card in one end, power this thing on, have your hard drive connected to the other end, and it will connect via Wi-Fi to your phone and allow you to copy things from your memory cards to the hard drive or to your phone if you wish. Now, this thing is really, really great, but their app needs a little bit of work. It can be kind of painful to sort out which files you have already copied and haven't already copied. At the point when I was still using this regularly, the app didn't actually allow you to copy everything and then have it just reject the ones that had already been copied. So there was no sort of one-touch solution. You had to go through and select all the stuff you'd shot that day and then have it copied to the hard drive. Now, Fujifilm now allows us to create folders on our SD cards, which makes that process a lot easier, as I can just copy the entire folder from that day from here onto here. But before, it was a case of going through and selecting each of the individual files, which was kind of annoying, but I'm able to use this anywhere, and it's USB chargeable, which means that I can charge it on the go using my solar panels. So that's for when I'm going a long way out. So let's close that guy up. Now, when I'm going to be a little bit closer to somewhere where I'll be able to have access to mains power, I am going to take my laptop, which is a Dell XPS 13, and the reason I chose this is Dell's warranty is exceptional, and this laptop itself is very light and quite powerful, so you can do a few basic edits on the road if you want to do that as well. The other component of this system is actually the Celdigit TUF SSD. Now this is a 1 terabyte TUF SSD. So Celdigit make these drives that are mil-spec and also have this rubber casing around them. So you can basically put these things through hell and back, and I have done that when I was testing it. Actually took it in the swimming pool, dropped it off a moving motorcycle, and everything still works just fine. As long as you keep this seal closed, the drive is water resistant up to 1 meter for a couple of hours. So if you happen to drop your bag in a river or something, that's definitely going to survive. Thankfully, I haven't had something like that happen yet. But this drive is also, just like the Samsung, extremely fast. So when I'm copying backwards and forwards off it, it's really, really quick. Now, with the laptop, unlike the RAVPower, this does actually support full-speed UHS 2 for my memory cards. So what I'm able to do is put a really quick memory card, 300 megabytes per second, into the laptop, plug this guy in over USB 3.1, and I'm able to get my entire day of shooting copied in just a couple of minutes. So that's really great for just being able to get back out and enjoy the place I'm in rather than having to deal with digital devices. And so with this guy, also this will go to whoever I'm traveling with, and I'll take their hard drive during the days. I'll have my memory cards with me just so that we make sure that we each have a copy of everything that's been shot so far. So that's the way that I like to back up things while I'm traveling. So I know that everybody has their own way of doing this for their own style of travel and their own style of shooting, and with every device that comes out, there's a new way of doing things. These are the ones that work for me. I'd love to hear from you guys about the sorts of solutions that you've come up with for your own traveling, so please leave those in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with people you think might find it useful. I'd also really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button below. I'll have new content for you every Wednesday, so look out for that. Thanks again.